From NBC15, this is breaking news.
We begin with breaking news this morning. NBC News is reporting the suspect in the recent bombings in Austin, Texas is dead after a confrontation with police. We're going to go to a live look at the scene now, where several media outlets say he set off a device and was killed. As you know, he was being called a serial bomber. 5 bombings killed 2 people and injured 4 others. The city of Austin has been tense, on high alert the last several days. Police there responding to well over 1,000 reports of suspicious packages. This appears to be the scene of where the serial bomber lost his life, whether it be by police confrontation, as NBC News is reporting, or by detonating one of his own bombs. We will have more as we continue to learn about this breaking news. Certainly a relief for people in Texas.
From NBC15, this is breaking news.
We do begin with breaking news this morning. NBC News is reporting the suspect in the recent bombings in Texas is dead after a confrontation with police. Let's go live now to a press conference with Austin Police.
By the Texas Rangers of the incident that occurred here tonight. Again, this is the culmination of 3 very long weeks for our community. And throughout these weeks, we've talked about the importance of remaining vigilant and looking out for each other. I want to continue that message as we stand here this morning, though, because we don't know where this suspect has spent his last 24 hours, and therefore we still need to remain vigilant to ensure that no other packages or devices have been left through the community. So as we go through the day today, we want the community to remain vigilant, but I also want to look at where we are now in Round Rock and remind our neighboring communities of Round Rock and Cedar Park and the other cities that we do not know where he has been in the past 24 hours, and we need your communities to remain vigilant as well. And again, if you see something that looks suspicious, if you see something that's out of place, if you see something that gives you concern, call 911 and let us know so that we don't experience any more tragedies in our communities, because we've had far too many over the past 3 weeks. I again want to thank the tremendous support and participation that we have had from our federal partners. And since this is still an ongoing investigation, we're not going to release a lot of the specific details that led to the incidents that occurred tonight. We did have one officer who was injured when that bomb detonated as he approached the vehicle, suffering minor injuries. And then we had one officer, as I mentioned earlier, that fired his weapon at the suspect. That officer has been with the Austin Police Department for 11 years, and again is a member of our SWAT team. As is our standard practice, he will be placed on administrative duty while we conduct the necessary investigations into what happened here. I'm now going to turn it over for comments to Special Agent Maliski of the ATF.
Thank you. The unprecedented level of cooperation and partnership from the law enforcement agencies at the local, state, and federal level allowed each of our agencies to bring a skill set, different skill set to bear and identify this subject. And fortunately tonight we're able to bring this part of the investigation to a close. I also want to thank the public who continue to support us and cooperate with us and continue to send in tips. And as the chief said, we want them to continue to be vigilant. We are concerned that there still may be other devices out there. We want to make sure that if people see suspicious packages or bags, they continue to call 911 and report that to the police so we can respond and deal with those packages. Thank you.
Just hearing there from law enforcement and the ATF working on this investigation. We've just learned also new information. the community still needs to remain vigilant. That was the big takeaway. Obviously, we're covering the suspected serial bomber is now dead. We learned this as we were walking onto set at 4:30 this morning. Big takeaways, 3 long weeks for the community. Still need to remain vigilant. They don't want to experience anything like this ever again.
So a police officer was injured when he approached the suspect's vehicle. And from that alone, of course, we're still waiting for details. It sounds like they knew who they were looking for, and they were able to make a stop. And the suspect, sounds like detonated a bomb, which did injure a police officer. Another police officer fired a shot. But again, it looks like the terror that people in the Austin area have been going through over. But again, we don't know where he's been for the last 24 hours. There is still some concern those packages could be out there.
We'll have more coverage throughout the morning. We have more details we're going through. We're turning back to our breaking news with updates continuously into the newsroom this morning. We've just learned as a press conference just wrapped up in Austin. The suspect in the recent bombings in Austin is dead after a confrontation with police. We also know the motive behind this month's string of bombings in the Texas area. We don't know the motive. We also know the suspect is a 24-year-old white male. We also learned new this morning that the suspect set off an explosive device inside his vehicle in a suburban Austin hotel parking lot as SWAT teams closed in. One SWAT team member fired a shot at the vehicle. We also learned that one officer was injured when a bomb was detonated this morning. Of course, as you've known, Austin has been targeted by 4 package bombings since March 2nd that killed 2 people and wounded 4 others. More details straight ahead. All right, Charlie, thank you. We want to get back to that breaking news with new information out of Austin. The FBI says it's concerned that there may be other package bombs that are still out there. The suspected bomber, now dead, is a 24-year-old white male. Just under an hour ago, a press conference wrapped up to release how he died. Police say they do not know a motive at this time. The suspect set off an explosive device inside his vehicle in a suburban Austin hotel parking lot as SWAT teams closed in. We also just learned an officer was injured in the process. Recent bombings killed 2 people and injured 4 others. More updates later this morning.
And we do begin with that breaking news. The serial bomber in Austin, Texas is dead. And here's what we know so far. He's been identified as a 24-year-old man. His name will not be released until next of kin are notified. His reign of terror ended when SWAT team members closed in on him in his car in a parking lot of a suburban Austin hotel. Now, the suspect set off an explosive device at that time. One SWAT officer was injured by that. Another SWAT officer fired a shot at the car. This is the scene captured earlier this morning. The FBI in an early morning news conference said it may not be over yet. They still don't know where he's been the last 24 hours, so more packages could still be out there. There have been 5 bombings over the past several days, killing 2 people and injuring 4 others.
We're staying on breaking news in Austin this morning. The serial bomber is dead, and President Donald Trump just tweeted his praise of law enforcement on how they responded. Overnight, investigators zeroed in on the suspect and located his vehicle in a suburban Austin hotel. This is a live look at the scene this morning. Police were waiting on a tactical team for hours when the suspect's vehicle began to move. As the SWAT team closed in, the suspect detonated a bomb inside his vehicle. The 24-year-old man died in the blast. An officer was also injured. The FBI says there may be more packages out there. It's a story we'll continue to follow this morning on air and on NBC15.com.
Good morning to you, and we do begin with breaking news. The serial bomber in Austin, Texas is dead, but the FBI says more package bombs could still be out there. Here's what we know so far. He has been identified as a 24-year-old man. Here is a live look at the scene where it ended. Police say his name will not be released until his next of kin are notified. We also know police caught up with him sitting in his car at a suburban Austin hotel parking lot. This is what you are looking at right now. The suspect then set off an explosive device inside the car as SWAT teams closed in. One SWAT team member was injured by the blast. Another then fired a shot at the car. Now, the concern this morning is this, though. The FBI does not know where he's been in the last 24 hours.
It's a long day ahead. We are concerned that there may be other packages that are still out there. We need the public to remain vigilant. especially today as we go through this investigation.
Authorities do not know his motive, and they did not say how they knew who he was or how he was tracked down. Austin had been targeted by 4 package bombings since March 2nd that killed 2 people and wounded 4 others. Then yesterday, early in the morning, a 5th parcel bomb detonated at a FedEx distribution center near San Antonio.
The suspect is deceased from a blast that occurred from detonating a bomb inside his vehicle.
This just in on the breaking news in Austin this morning. A federal agent says it's hard to say whether the dead suspect in this month's package bombings was acting alone. Authorities say the suspect built all the bombs. FBI spokesperson says more explosives could still be out there. The suspect is a 24-year-old man. This is a live look at the scene this morning. The suspect set off an explosive device inside his car in a suburban Austin hotel parking lot as SWAT teams moved in. 1 officer was injured by the blast. Austin has been targeted by 4 package bombings since March 2nd that killed 2 people and wounded 4 others. A 5th parcel bomb detonated at a FedEx distribution center near San Antonio early Tuesday.
Breaking news now. The serial bomber in Austin, Texas is dead, but the FBI says more package bombs could still be out there because they don't know where he's been in the hours leading up to his death. But here is what we know so far. He has been identified as a 24-year-old man. His name will not be released until next of kin are notified. Though Austin police say the suspect set off an explosive device inside his car in the parking lot of this suburban Austin hotel as SWAT teams closed in. The FBI still does not know his motive, and they do not know if he was working alone. 5 bombings killed 2 people and injured 4 others since the beginning of the month. Now, Austin Mayor Steve Adler will be on the Today Show coming up next.